Hi, this is Rudy Jones of PembataStateBaseball.com. Welcome to the South Carolina College Baseball recap for Tuesday, March the 10th. Yeah, it started March the 11th, but I was at a game and it took me a while to get caught up on things that are going on. But anyway, there were 22 games played involving state teams on Tuesday and some noteworthy results for sure. Up in Conway, Coastal Carolina scored 7 runs in the sixth inning and snapped Wake Forest's 15-game winning streak with a 10-4 win at Springbrook Stadium. The Chanticleers improved to 10-6. Wake Forest fell to 15-2. The Chants were trailing 4-2 before they had that big uprising in the seventh inning. There was a crowd of 5,122 at Springbrook Stadium. I believe they said it was the third largest regular season crowd in stadium history, and I believe sixth largest crowd overall. In SRP Park in North Augusta, Sean White hit a grand slam to wrap up a 6-run second inning, and all 6 runs scored after 2 were out. And Georgia Southern knocked off number 11 Clemson by a score of 6-1. The Eagles improved to 5-11. They got off to a tough start, and Clemson is now 15-2 after that 7-game winning streak was snapped. Had a crowd of 59-21 at SRP Park in North Augusta to see the Tigers play. Kerry Tyler Lichtenberger, excuse me, thinking the wrong person. Tyler Lichtenberger had 2 hits, including a home run for Clemson. At Joe Riley Park in Charleston, the Citadel got a pair of early home runs to take the lead, and then they ran USC ragged on the base pass for an 8-3 win in front of 329 fans at the Joe. The Bulldogs got a 2-run homer from T.J. Anderson off the center field batter's eye to take a 2-1 lead. The Ryder Popple hit a solo homer. It was really mashed to right field an inning later. For the Gamecocks, Will Craddock had a pair of home runs. The first home run was in the first inning. It was originally ruled foul. The umpires got together after Paul Maneri asked him to check it out, and they decided it was a home run. Gamecocks pitchers struck out 11, but they also walked 9 and hit 1. And the Citadel stole 7 bases on the base paths. They had a couple of other well-placed bunts. They just played small ball and really gave the Gamecocks trouble. Again, the Citadel 6-8. Carolina fell to 12-6. Citadel probably feeling a little bit better about themselves. They got some frustrating losses both at Florida State and at Kentucky, but they got a nice win tonight over the Gamecocks. Up in Spartanburg at Fifth Third Park, Malloy Haney's bases loaded triple in the 5th inning broke a 2-2 tie, and USC Upstate beat Wofford by a score of 5-2 in front of a crowd of over 1,000 at Fifth Third Park. The Spartans are now 7-10, I believe. No, 8-10, excuse me. And Wofford fell to 10-6. 4 Wofford players had 2 hits apiece. In Central, Cole Kirshner drove in 6 runs with a double and a homer, and Southern Wesley beat Newberry in the first game of a doubleheader by a score of 14-4. But the Wolves came back from an 11-3 win in the nightcap as Cooper Raines had 4 hits, including a home run. Southern Wesleyan is now 8-16. Newberry is now 16-9. Jack Luther and Marion McManus drove in 2 runs apiece, and Erskine won at Savannah State by a score of 7-5. Flying Fleet are now 10-15. Savannah State fell to 11-10. Levi Medford homered twice and drove in 4 runs, and Anderson run ruled Claflin by a score of 13-1. The Trojans improved 15-8. Claflin fell to 3-17, and they've lost 15 straight games. Up in Pembroke, North Carolina, Matthew Lipsy singled in the go-ahead run of the 11th and later scored an insurance run on a wild pitch, and the Cobras knocked off UNC Pembroke by a score of 10-8 in 11 innings. Cobras now 6-16. Pembroke fell to 16-5. Ryan Pikatowski was 4 for 4 with a walk, a double, and a homer to drive in 4 runs, and USC Sumter rolled past Catawba Valley 15-4. The Fire Ants are, I believe, now 13-8. I typed in the wrong score. I had to put the wrong record. I had to fix that. Catawba Valley is now 15-9. Pikatowski also stole a base and scored 3 times. Bryce Mobley singled, homered, and drove in 5 runs as USC Lancaster beat Cleveland Community College by a score of 14-9. The Lancers improved to 12-11, and Cleveland fell to 14-12. Jerry and Pinckney singled and homer to drive in 4 runs, and Spartanburg Methodist beat Carolina University by a score of 15-5 in Game 1 of a doubleheader. But the host Bruins came out to win Game 2 by a score of 12-9. Spartanburg Methodist is now 10-12, and Carolina University is 11-12. Carolina University, by the way, was down 7-0 in Game 2. 7-0 in Game 9-0. I'm having a terrible time. Hope you'll forgive me for this. Carolina University was down 9-0 and scored the final 12 runs of the game to get that second game. Elsewhere, Catawba used a pair of 4-run innings to claim a win over Francis Marion by a score of 11-8. The Indians are now 17-4. Francis Marion fell to 19-4. Cade Martin hit 2 of Trevecca Nazarene's 3 home runs as they knocked off North Greenville by a score of 5-1 up in Tigerville in the opener of a 2-game series. Trevecca Nazarene is now 16-6. North Greenville fell to 19-3. Belmont Abbey forced extra innings of 2 runs in the 9th, and then Caleb Burr gave the Crusaders a walk-off win with a 3-run homer against Lander in the 10th inning. Belmont Abbey's 14-7. Lander fell to 14-9. UNC Wilmington scored 9 runs in the 5th inning and wound up running over Charleston Southern by a score of 18-2 to sweep that season series. It was a 7-inning game. The Seahawks are now 11-6. Charleston Southern fell to 12-4. A 7-run 4th inning was margin of victory for Princeton in a 10-3 win over Winthrop in the opener of a 2-game series. The Tigers are now 3-8. Winthrop fell to 10-6. Florida Atlantic handed Presbyterian its 15th straight loss with a run rule 12-2 win down in Florida. The Blue Hose fell to 2-15. Florida Atlantic is 10-6. Jack Brubaker Floyd's 2nd inning grand slam lifted defiance past North Greenville in Game 1 of a doubleheader, and the Yellow Jackets won Game 2 to give their coach Shane Gardner his 300th career win. Game 1 score was 5-3. Game 2 score was 6-1. Defiance has won its last 4 games and are now 7-14. Bob Jones fell to 5-10. And in the only other game played on the day in South Carolina, Barton handed Buford his 8th straight loss by a score of 11-2. Barton is now 4-14. USC Buford is 4-17. A couple of surprises outside the state. Elon shut out number 10 NC State by a score of 2-0. It was the Phoenix's first ever shutout win over the Wolfpack. And number 23 Florida beat Florida State, who's number 20, by a score of 6-3. These rankings, by the way, are from D1Baseball.com. Not really necessarily an upset, but just a surprising score. Boston College, coached by former Wofford coach Todd Interdonato, beat UConn by a score of 26-19. Not bad. How about the schedule for Wednesday? East Georgia is at USC Salkehatchie for a doubleheader at 1 o'clock. USC Union is at Rowan State at 2. Fayetteville Tech is at Florence Darlington Tech at 3 o'clock. USC Sumter completes its series at Catawba Valley with a 3 o'clock game. Trevecca Nazarene and North Greenville play Game 2 of their series at 3:30 at Ray and B. Dillard Field. Presbyterian completes its road series at Florida Atlantic with a 4 o'clock game. Princeton and Winthrop play again in Rock Hill at 4 o'clock. The USC Lancaster plays the Francis Marion JV at 4 o'clock for a doubleheader at Sparrow Stadium. College of Charleston comes up to Spartanburg to play Wofford at 5:30 at Russell C. King Field. And in the only other game in the state on Wednesday, USC Aiken is at Lenore Ryan at 6 o'clock. Sorry I kind of stumbled through this. I wanted to get it through without having to make a lot of different takes of it. Sometimes I make mistakes. Anyway, you can always keep up with what's going on in the state at PalmettoStateBaseball.com. I provide updates in game and other little notes as such under my X handle of Palmetto Base. And you can always email me at RudyJones@PalmettoStateBaseball.com with suggestions, criticisms, compliments, or just invitation for me to go away. Anyway, thanks for listening to the end of this. For now, this is Rudy Jones of PalmettoStateBaseball.com saying good night. Jesus loves you.